Imagine being plucked from a bar, sat in a call center, and working 100 hours a week, making 3 times the income you ever thought you could make. Imagine leaving that job, starting your own brokerage, and then selling it to NerdWallet. Then being asked to head up one of the largest trade organizations for mortgage brokers. And then, imagine this. Are brokers really better? Well, by tuning into today's episode, we're going to dissect Are Brokers Better? And we're also going to learn the story of today's special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus, you are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and a very special guest. This dude hails from Motown, that is Mortgage Town, Detroit, Michigan. He is a father of 3. He is a mortgage professional. He is my new friend, Jonathan Haddad. Jonathan, welcome to the Loan Officer Podcast.
Dude, you are special. You got all of that from our brief conversation, and you remembered every bit of it, man. That was really amazing and put a huge smile on my face.
I've been doing this for a minute.
Yes, sir.
I've been doing this for a minute, and quite honestly, I think everyone needs their intro, right? Like if you were with Dana White and you were a UFC fighter, right? And you had Bruce Buffer in the octagon and he's going to announce you, we all deserve that. So that was my rendition of what Bruce Buffer would have done for you as you come down the catwalk getting ready to jump into the ring.
Dude, and it felt that good too. And you know what's crazy? I've been talking to my team about this. It's the way we even set up our processors and the way we introduce them to clients.
Oh, that handoff?
Like the pedestal, right?
Yes,
like
yes.
It does. Like look at that smile you put on and I couldn't control it. I wasn't. It's not like I was intentionally smiling. It was just happening. So that is a gift, my friend. That is a gift. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome. Are you a walk-up music guy?
Yeah, it sometimes depends on my mood. If I'm ready to like go into chaos, yeah, I don't mind some walk-up music. I did an event not long ago in Detroit, and my walk-up song was Stevie B, Spring Love.
I know Stevie B. I don't know if I know Spring Love unless I heard it.
Oh, if you hear it, you would know right away. But my mom growing up, that was like what she was into in the 70s and 80s. So we got to hear it. So it's a lot of nostalgia for me. So when I go on, it gives me that sense of calmness.
Okay.
Now, if I'm ready for war, it's either the Rock's theme music or Triple H.
Okay, so you were a WWE guy.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Okay.
Oh, my God, growing up. It was crazy.
Well, you're in Central Florida.
Yes.
This is wrestling haven, right? I mean, most of those men and women got started over in Clearwater, which is just about 100 miles away from us. So, and we are in Orlando. We are at MortgageCon 2025. I got to speak yesterday. Jonathan's speaking today. You flew in last night, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. Got in about 9 o'clock.
Wow. Missed the ice storm? Because I heard there's an ice storm coming.
We did on our end there, but it looks like it's going to be pure chaos back home. So the kids and everybody else, we'll see. We'll keep checking in on them.
All right. Very, very good. And what are you going to be speaking about? Like, what is this presentation that you're going to be doing? Because look, the audience, right, our TLOPers who are tuning in, they're probably not here.
Yep.
Right. We pimped and we promoted MortgageCon 2025. I love this event. I can't wait for it next year. It's probably the coolest event well, I don't know about AIME Fuse. We'll have to talk about AIME Fuse, but right now, this is the coolest event of 2025. But what's your topic? What are the people going to miss because they didn't get a chance to come to Universal Studios in February in Orlando?
Yeah, look, man, it's called Uncomfortable but Unstoppable.
Okay.
And what it has a lot to do with is, I break it into 3 parts. The first part is a lot to do with the training and what it takes to really be successful coming into this year, 2025. I talk a lot about strategies with past clients. I spent a lot of my years in retail at Rocket Mortgage. I worked with past clients like you would not believe, better than probably most people. And so my people now, like we know how to do it, how to call, how to get in front of these people. If you don't, no one's doing it for you, right? And there's these call centers. It's not a bad thing, by the way. People are going to go get money and get paid. Your client doesn't owe it to you to call you back if someone else calls them. I think that's the worst mindset you could possibly have as an LO. So the first step is get out of your head, stop pretending you know what your client needs, and start calling. By the way, here's exactly who to call and how to call them. So that's the first step.
So you're teaching this today?
Oh, yeah, today.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the QR codes, you can download my scripting. Everything's going to be there on how I do it, how I've done it for years. The second part of it is your personal development. and I go in through a process that I do with my team and my leaders and really develop them personally. And I give the scorecard, I give the Excel sheet on how I do it, how we check in with each other weekly. I go through like mental health with them, how much anxiety they have, their water intake, their core values. Part of it is, you as a human being, your core values can't just be something like, I'm an honest person. That's not a core value. You just shot that out of your ass. Excuse my language. Sorry.
No, go for it.
You said 18 plus. So
it is 18 plus.
All right, that's why I figured that
yeah.
was good. But it's about like, I don't let my people give me one word core values. You have to wait a week, you come back and tell me. Like one of my leaders, Gabby, one of her core values is, if letter A doesn't work, there's 25 more letters. That's a core value. So what did you do that embodied your core value the previous week? So we talk a lot about personal development and how to really hammer it home with an accountability buddy, because I go through some of the...
I love that. Say it again. Accountability.
Accountability buddy.
Okay.
Accountability buddy.
Yes.
There's a lot of research done by the American Training Association, and it says you're 95% more likely if you have somebody holding you accountable to accomplish a task. So I really dive deep. And then the third part is inspiration, and I talk about the most beautiful soul that passed away, Stephen Luigi Piazza, my mentor.
Okay.
The guy was just so special, and I tell his story at the end of it. And it'll be a really cool one. You'll see people get emotional. I get emotional every time I tell the story, but
I bet.
I break it down into 3 parts. So it's training, personal development, inspiration.
Nice. And this is how you lead your team.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Where did you learn this? Because obviously we don't come out of the womb knowing all of this. And, so much of this show, for those that are tuning in because maybe you're a fan of Jonathan, but this is your first introduction to the Loan Officer Podcast, hey, welcome. Thank you. Make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe. And then you have to share it at least once, if not twice. On that note, though, like they don't teach this shit in school. More than likely, it wasn't being discussed at your dinner table.
No.
So where did you go to be a student so that now you can be an instructor?
Yeah, so growing up, I'm first generation Middle Eastern American.
Okay.
And I'm the firstborn. And so in my culture, the firstborn, there's a lot put on your shoulders. And so my dad was actually one of the first ever Arabic singers in the country, ever. Yeah, he came here in the 80s. He blew up. Now,
seriously?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You can look him up.
Sing in Arabic.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was booking shows. He was here all the time. And then money mismanagement. Things happen, right? But I got to watch my dad when I go to events, and I saw a click. Like whenever that light turned on, I saw my dad and I knew what he was dealing with at home, and it's like it didn't matter. So I learned that from my dad for sure, where it's like it doesn't matter. Like when the show starts. Screw your feelings. And my dad would tell me that. Yeah. He goes, these people are paying me to be here. Like it doesn't matter what I'm struggling with at home. And that's where it started for sure. Because now when I'm in front of people and there's a project or whatever, I'm like, here we go, right? So it started there. And then obviously you just learn over time. And then at Rocket Mortgage, there was that structure. And you just start to understand and you learn and you start to realize people. And then you start to understand the psychology of people. And I love psychology. I love science. So then I start getting into body language. Then I start getting into the way people operate and the way they say certain words and why words mean something. So then I went down that path. And then a lot of it had to do with my mentors. I had 3 of the most incredible mentors on this earth.
Did you find them at Rocket or did you seek them outside of Rocket?
No, I found them at Rocket.
Because you were basically, 21 years old when you got started at Rocket?
Yeah, man. I was a bartender at Buffalo Wild Wings back when the wings were cheap, and it was...
And still good.
And still good, and not these little... I remember when the chicken went up, it was a chaos at Buffalo. I was, oh no! But I was there, for a while, and then I met them there, Stephen Luigi Piazza being one, Chad Weinbaum is another one, and then Richard Mandel being the third. And
they were all at Rocket with you.
And they were. And here's why. When I first started, right, a lot of what happens in the call center model, and this, by the way, this is not a bad thing. So nobody take this out of context right now because, our industry loves to do that.
Well, by the way, I will say, because we kind of teased it in the soft open, I don't think brokers are better because I don't want to say something is better than the other. I think our industry is freaking awesome. So I wouldn't want someone to think like a call center career is a bad career or a career at a credit union is a bad career. That's why I've always had a personal issue with the brokers are better. And I know we're going to get into it, but you're getting ready to say something about call center.
Yeah.
And I want to say, we love call center.
That's where I grew up.
It's a great way to start your career. It's also a great place to make a career.
Yes.
You get to choose. Like there's no like wrong or right path for all of us.
And look, that's part of it. Like I grew up in that environment.
Yeah.
So I understand.
How many years?
6.5.
6.5 in the call center.
Yep.
Crushing calls,
I mean,
100-hour weeks.
Oh, my
40 units a month. Like you're doing
way more than that. Like my team of 12, we were doing 1.2 billion a year every year. I mean,
wow.
like clockwork, doing, it was insane how much we operated. I set up my schedule Sunday through Thursday, which I still do today. I love Sunday through Thursday schedules.
So you work Sunday through Thursday. You take Friday, Saturday?
Yeah. I'll work Friday, Saturday, but it's not work, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and then my team does the same thing. So I've taught them how to do that as well. It's really great for building habits. That Friday, everyone checks out on Friday regardless, so do your clients.
Yes.
If you go back and look, by the way, go look at this data. If you don't believe me, go look at your data and see how much business is ever done on Fridays. Just go do it. Go look up your call contacts, your credit reports that you pull, your loans that get registered, submit. Just go look at your lock data for Fridays. You'll see what I'm saying.
You know what's funny about that? I have a theory on Fridays, and this is just through practicing, right, for 15 consistent years. Here's how my Fridays worked. Got to the office usually about a half hour late because, I stayed up late Thursday night. So, and it's Friday, and I knew I could.
Yep.
I was dead, nothing to do until lunch. I would text my wife when I was at lunch. I'm like, oh, hey, honey, great news. I'll be home early today. No, and about 3:30, some asshole was reminded, oh, crap, what did that real estate agent tell me to do back on Monday?
Bingo.
And all of a sudden, it's like ding, 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 ding. 5 emails, 3 texts, and 2 return phone calls. It's 6 p.m. and she's like, where are you?
Every time, man.
Yes.
Every time. And the data, by the way, the data supports what you're saying.
Okay.
It really, just look. I'm not saying it. Just look at your own.
Yes.
So that's a journey. And also, too, we rebranded from Brokers Are Better to Brokers Are Best. So, I really want to dive into it.
Yeah. We'll circle back. And I kind of cut you off because you're going to say something about your start in the call center. And you're like, hey, before I say this, I want you to know it's don't take offense to it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And with you, it's cool. For those of you that have never been on this show already, he is very good at having a conversation. It makes it really easy to navigate. It does. You're just smiley, you're bubbly, and you're just the questions and navigating the convo. So did that Rocket Mortgage. And here's what I learned. So I went in there and I was getting results not by – so we would always do this. You can deliver feedback by injection. You ever heard that before?
No.
So that was a big thing. We deliver feedback by injection. That's never my style. So I wouldn't do that. And I'm doing it my way, and I'm still finishing at the top, and I'm finishing one, and I'm outworking everybody. And it's not close. I'm calling out people left and right.
Yeah.
People would talk trash to me, and I'd reply on a Saturday at 11:30 with a picture of me on the floor, and I'm like, it's just crazy that you talk trash, but here you are. I don't know, not here. I don't know what you're doing on the weekend. I was just that much of a psycho about it. But Piazza, the thing he taught me was this about leadership. Leadership, you have to really embrace yourself as a human being first, and understand your moral compass and how you want to lead. I didn't want to lead by injection. So I kept getting hammered. You got to do this. I'm like, dude, I can't do it. And he looked at me one day, he pulls me aside and he says, John, just because you don't do it their way doesn't mean your way is wrong. He said, you know what they want you to do? I said, what? He goes, they want you to fight back and show them why your way is right. I said, yes, sir. I came in the next day prepared. When they came at me with something, I had the data. This is why I work Sunday through Thursdays. Here's why I'm doing it this way. No, I'm not going to do it that way here. And it was crazy because then I started them, okay, no problem, John, okay. And I'm like, Piazza, it worked. He goes, I know it worked. Yeah. So number one, from a leadership perspective, you have to figure out, if you're not comfortable doing something, there's a way to do it your way. You just have to have the confidence to explain and articulate to somebody else why your way can also work. By the way, there's nothing wrong with that. At first, I used to get upset about it. I can't believe they're challenging me. That's their job as a leader. So now my job is to challenge my team on what they think doesn't work or does work. And if it doesn't work, right? If I challenge them on something and they say, no, John, it works. Then they come back and show me it works. Great. We move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So they really helped me understand that. That's where that journey started.
So your personal development started with having 3 great mentors.
Oh my God.
And you were fortunate that those 3 great mentors you found through your employer.
Correct. And then I found them, a lot through outside of them now, Renee Rodriguez, and just learning and understanding people. Eddie Perez has actually been mentoring me quite a bit. The guy's just a savant and such a legend. Chris Vincent, who's actually here standing in the corner, gives me a ton of leadership advice. We talk all the time. Just guys you can trust. The other thing too, y'all, for those out there, I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this because it's very important you pay attention to who you're getting information from. I like to get advice from people that don't need me. So what I mean is, they don't need money from John Haddad. These people have money. They have resources. I'm not a make or break for these people. So when I'm getting insights and information from them, I feel like it's the most unbiased thing because I can't do anything, right?
There's no ulterior motive.
There really isn't. So that's just a big step of it for me. And I hope that helps. Like kind of navigating that journey for me was a lot of personal development and really embracing who I was as a human being and being okay with it.
Let's jump into this. You just did something super exciting.
Yeah.
At least as an entrepreneur, I always think in any exit is exciting. Anytime that somebody says, I want your company and you, and I'm willing to pay you X. So your brokerage, Next Door Lending, correct?
Yes.
So Next Door Lending just made national news because you sold to NerdWallet.
Yep.
What was that like? And then what are y'all now doing over at Next Door, aka NerdWallet?
Yeah, so I'm learning stuff from the corporate side. So there's certain things I can't go into because they're publicly traded and I don't own the company.
Okay.
I will say it was surreal first and foremost, right? Because you don't, at first it's like, hey, there's somebody interested, and you're like, oh, all right, whatever, you know. And then you find out who's somebody interested in, and I'm just like, what are you talking about right now? Are you?
Were you even up for sale?
No. No. It was just more of like things kind of just happened. My partner made a connection somewhere. I don't know how. He's like, yeah, I was talking to somebody. They said there might be potential, so I'm vetting it out. I was like, yeah, man, whatever. Just come to me if there's anything there. And then he's like, calls me, John. I'm like, what's going on, dude? He's like, you're not going to believe it. I'm like, no, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
But it was surreal. It was an awesome experience. Very difficult, tumultuous. Like for anybody that does ever sell, just know they go through everything. You can't hide anything. There's nothing you can do. Everything is figured out. So please keep your stuff in order. Like that helped us tremendously, and there's still stuff we had out of order. If you don't think it's important, you're wrong. All right, you're wrong. It was amazing. But what it does now for us is it opens up the door, right? And it gives us so much credibility, which has been huge because brokers haven't had a lot of that, right? Over the last X amount of years, especially after 2008 and the crash. And it was a big rebuild for mortgage brokers. So the credibility piece is huge.
I'm going to quantify that for the listeners.
Massive.
Let's talk about big. In 2006, the broker world, and Chris would know this better than me, but 70% market share, right?
Wow.
It was like 70% market share. By 11, it was 7% market share. Like
I didn't even know it was that low.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was rough. And then now it's probably closer to 31%, right? It's probably in that ballpark.
About
range.
26 right now.
Okay,
Yep.
at 26, duh. The dude over at AIME would know this way better than the freaking podcast host. But yeah, that's just like a little bit of context. Just looking back at my trajectory. So, NerdWallet, were they in your footprint? Was NerdWallet like in Next Door Lending's footprint? Like where's headquarters for NerdWallet?
They're San Francisco's headquarters, New York as well, Arizona. They have places all over.
And you're based out of Detroit.
Yeah, we're based out of Detroit, and like we've bought in leads over the years. Just like everybody does, right? Like you buy leads here, you buy leads there.
Okay, so you were maybe a client of theirs.
Maybe once years ago. It was nothing recent. You know, it's not like the industry was easy the last couple of years. We're pretty heavy self-gen too personally. So like that was really it. There wasn't a footprint. There wasn't anything there. It was just an interest that they had just based off of the direction that they potentially wanted to go.
And what was your size at the time of the purchase? Like how many actual physical locations, how many states were you in?
So we did about 830 million in 23. And then we
did in 23. Awesome. Yeah. So non-COVID numbers.
I'm giving you non-COVID. I'm done with COVID numbers.
Correct. Guys, no, that's fake. That's fake.
I thank you for saying that. It's fake. Because some people like LOs, I still originate, y'all. Okay, I still originate. You can look up my production, 60 units last year. Please stop telling people about how 2020 and 20. It's just not good for your mental health. I'm serious. Because if you wake up every day thinking that's the mindset you should be in, you're gonna hurt yourself. And I'm getting my LOs out of this mindset. It's gone. It's okay. But we got to move forward and stop talking about how great we were. It's driving me up the wall,
Thank
man.
you for doing that because I didn't have to do it. So you all were doing almost $1 billion, which basically makes you a top 100 lender. Right, which is really cool, you're pretty close to that number.
Yeah.
Usually it's like, hey, if you're doing $1 billion, especially in non-COVID years, you're probably somewhere around like 99, 98, 101. If you look at like the national ranking, so that's good. That's huge. So you all were there. How many states physically operating in? Like not how many states you're licensed
like branches
in.
wise?
Yeah.
So the way we do it, we have branches everywhere now.
Okay.
So basically we bring on branches and we'll get them up and standing. But I would say now there's probably about in 6 physical locations, and we are expanding pretty rapidly at the moment.
Okay. So like you're doing all that production out of 6 locations. But
26 states roughly.
Cool. Mm-hmm. And then obviously NerdWallet wants a piece of the mortgage industry.
Yep.
That's why they purchased y'all.
Yep.
And now you're there. So I'm anticipating you got juice, you got gas, right?
Yes, man.
You got gas. What does the next 24 months look like that you can share? Because I know you're now owned by a publicly traded company, and I've actually worked most recently for a publicly traded company that my current employer, we're wanting to maybe one day go public. What does the growth trajectory look like for Nextdoor with this now ownership of NerdWallet?
To me, it's the transparency because we are public. So when the earnings reports start coming out, there's certain things that are going to have to be reported. Like now there's no more, it's all there. So now all these speculations and people, it's like, here it is. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it can look like for you. And now how do I use that to provide credibility for what we're doing and then bring people in, right? Like showcase to them, here's what we can do. Here's what we can help you with. Like I still want to showcase to people on certain angles where might be a better fit. Like you said, I am very aware that not everybody's the right fit for me. And you said it best, man. Like we were talking beforehand, like, John, I get it. Like not everybody's going to work well at lower. It is what it is. I'm good with that. And I understand that too, but I believe there's people out there that don't know about the grass on this side that would be beneficial for them. So that's really who I've been speaking to. And a lot of them retail side specifically, right? It's not a bad thing. It's just I see their model. I see their business. So that's really what I want to bring into the door. And then it's really understanding the data and understanding like what these consumers are doing and really helping brokers understand past clients. And retail, what I talked about it, right? Past clients. We shouldn't be losing those opportunities. We have to stay. That's all originators, by the way. But these large retail shops do such an incredible job of it. Now having that infrastructure where we can manage and understand it and really work and help these clients is a really big deal for us.
So would it be fair to say that you're looking to 2X or 3X in terms of volume?
Oh my gosh.
Over the next 2 to 3 years? And you're going to leverage this partnership to where an originator could benefit, right? Originator could benefit if they onboarded with you, not just because of your leadership, which you would benefit highly from Jonathan's leadership. No, I say that wholeheartly, right? I mean, technically you could say that you and I are quote unquote competitors. I never see that, right? We're colleagues, we're friends in the industry. But I wouldn't say competitor, but someone could say that. But I preach on this show. People are like, oh, what's the best company to work for? I said, it's not about the company. Who's the best leader and who's the best leader for you? And it starts at the local level. So I'll tell people like, look, there could be a dozen good companies out there, but not every good company has a branch manager who'll be a great leader for you, depending on your market. Maybe Sacramento has a great leader, but if you slide down into San Diego, that leader's a bit of a douche, right? Like that leader may be a phenomenal originator, but not a great leader. So I can't recommend a company. I can recommend a leader. Well, getting to know you over the past year, I can say, look, that's a great leader. Man. And then obviously now that you have the gas of NerdWallet, it's going to be really cool to watch what you all do over the next 2 to 3 years.
It is, man. And it's cool. Like even on the website, right? Like nextdoorlending.com, it'll say it underneath. And it's like, whoa, people, the credibility that comes there, but we still operate as Nextdoor Lending, still operate under that as the subsidiary and all of that fun stuff too. But it is like, it is additional gas on the fire because look, like I am 33 and
You're young.
I want to run.
You're young.
I
thought I was young, right?
You are.
No, I mean, I'm young compared to the mortgage industry. Like the mortgage industry is pale, male, and stale. And I'm like, I'm pale and I'm male. I can't fix that. Yeah. But I can fix not being stale. But I recognize at 46, I probably have 9 years. In 9 years, there's going to be the next DO, the next Jonathan looking at me
100%.
Saying, hey, bro, pass the baton. Which, by the way, that's what I'm telling people. I'm saying to people in my industry that I looked up to for the past 20 years, hey, thank you so much. You've been amazing. Go enjoy retirement and hand that baton over so guys like us can help shape the future of mortgage lending, not because we want to be better than those, because it's our turn to pay it forward because someone did it for us.
And you can make that so graceful even on their side too, right? It's like when someone's stepping into that role, make it graceful, right? And by the way, only if they take a liking to you, which makes sense.
Yes.
But if they take a liking to you and they believe in what you're doing, why not like support them and hey, this is Dio, right? He's the next person up. He's the guy.
Yep.
Like Renee does a lot of that for me. It feels good, you know, and it feels really good. And that's why you are right, man. It's okay. It's time. It's not a bad thing for us.
Yeah. Look, in 2025, I'm officially launching a career advisory services through TLOP, right? And TLOP's the brand that brings us the podcast, right? And TLOP stands for the Loan Officer Podcast. Shout out to my buddy Tom O'Brien, who's the first person to call it TLOP. I rolled my eyes, but then I'm like, I kind of like that. Then I had a marketing consultant say, do you know what Rolex stands for? I go, no, what? Someone's name? He goes, no, nothing. It stands for nothing. So you can have TLOP, and at least yours stands for like how you got started. But this career advisory services is my way of formally stating what I've already been doing. I've already been fielding phone calls for the past 5 years from listeners and fans of the show who need career advice. And I give them wholehearted career advice. And because I've been doing it behind the scenes pro bono for 5 years, I can tell people, if you need career advice, reach out to me. I will be your cool uncle. I will spit it to you straight. You might not like the answer, but it'll be an honest answer based on my 20 years experience in the industry. And what I have found is 3 out of 7 times, I literally tell these people, the grass is greener where you water it. It sounds like you just need to have a tough conversation with your manager. That's 3 out of 7. Now, 4 out of 7 times, no, we end up helping them find usually a better leader. It's not a better company, it's a better leader. Or sometimes they're just in the wrong setup. Maybe consumer direct is what's right for them, and they've been trying retail, but we've decided at this point in their life and their career, let's make that a goal, but let's go work for 2 or 3 years in a call center, get those at-bats and get those reps. So in order for me to do this, I have to have relationships with the Rockets and the New Americans, right? And then I'm going to have another 3 people of those 7 where I represent a mortgage company, but what if I don't have a dynamic leader in their market, right? Or what if independent mortgage banking is not for them and they want to be a broker? So like this year, like I'm building partnerships with companies like Nextdoor and Edge and Movement. And I'm even not opposed to doing my old employer, because my old employer is a bank-owned independent mortgage bank. And there's a certain benefit to working for a bank-owned company.
Yep.
So I know that going forward, if you're tuning into this show and you need career advice, dude, reach out to us. Whether you go to our website, tloponline.com, you go to Dustin Owen on LinkedIn, or you hit me up on IG at the Loan Officer Podcast. I'll spend 5-10 minutes with you. And then if it makes sense, I'll introduce you to one of my friends in the industry based on what we determined in that phone call. And like, I'm excited about doing stuff like that more officially. I mean, I've been doing it for 5 years, but now it's like, no, we're going to tell the world about it. We're going to build out a landing page and let people reach out to us so we can be their cool uncle.
Well, and you're so, like, again, you're honest about it. Like, that's the biggest thing people want, especially now after COVID years, right? And things have they just want transparency and honesty. Like, they don't care if you make money, great. They just want to know, like, are you making money on my behalf? And if you are, just can you tell me?
Yeah. Yes.
And like, that's why it was cool. That's why I was smiling watching you do that. It's like, yeah, I'm taking this here. Here we go.
Yeah.
So,
look,
and it's real.
Yeah. 1 in 7 may come work directly for my team. 1 in 7. But 3 stayed at their employer, and 3 others ended up getting introduced to my friends in the industry, guys like you that I respect, that I'm like, hey, look, this would probably make more sense for you. We're going to have to eventually find a way to put a bow on this, which I could go for 2-3 hours.
My bad.
No. We could totally do a Joe Rogan episode, but then we'd be rude to the next guest who's waiting in line. But I want to talk about your role at AIME.
Yeah.
Okay. For those that don't know, what does AIME stand for?
Association of Independent Mortgage Experts.
Okay, and it's a trade organization that is broker specific, right? Mortgage broker specific. And it was originally stood up, my understanding was as a way for the industry to fight back against certain deemed abusive practices, right? Meaning I'm a mortgage broker. I broker my loan to Fairway at the time, right? Because it was all up in the news. And all of a sudden, Fairway is using their call center employees to refinance my borrower, which prevents my borrower from calling me back. In fact, funny story about Jonathan, you were that dude at Rocket for 6 years, were you not?
It happened. Yeah, like it happened, and you don't know, right? And there was cross-channel conflicts, and the things would just occur, and then they come through. And again, like, y'all, I was just hammering the phones, and I was telling my people to hammer the phones. So there was a time and place. Like, it's funny, a lot of people they were like, there was no place for brokers are better or brawl. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I saw the other side of it. I was part of that other side. So there is something there to it. And now it's about the evolvement for me, right? I think that's like the biggest piece for it. It's because you said it earlier. So I rebranded it from Brokers Are Better to Brokers Are Best.
Yep.
And my big reasoning, because everyone's asking me, brokers are best. Like, in order for you to best serve your consumers, you have to be the best version of yourself first, right? But I do believe that the opportunity to be a broker and have options as a broker is a big deal. There's a lot of retail companies that still have a broker arm.
Oh, yeah.
And if they can't find a solution under retail, what do? They broker it out. So that's why for me, it gives you the most options for a consumer, but to be the best, you have to be the best first. Like, are we calling our clients every week? Are we checking in on our past clients? Are you sending thank you cards to agents? Are you at every single closing? Like, you got to do all that first before you talk to me about the other BS you think is BS. That's just a personal opinion, right? That's how I still do units. Like, with as much as I had going on last year, I still did 60 plus units. I wanted 100. I fell short. Could have got there, right? But I missed it. How am I still able to do it?
You work 2 full-time jobs plus originate.
That's my point.
Yes.
So it's like I know there's still more we have to do to be the best versions of us. And then getting away from that, the brokers are better connotation. I do believe there was a place for it.
Yes.
I'm ready to go past it and go on to the brokers are best. But again, it's the best version of you to be the best for your consumer.
Yeah.
That is the huge focus.
When it's one of those, like, when we all level up,
yes,
or when one levels up, we all win, right? Like the minute someone else starts taking market share, if I'm a competitor and I'm going to get good at what I do, I say, oh shit, bro, you got to step up your game. I step up my game. Whoever's chasing me, guess what they have to do? Step up their game. So it served an amazing role for our industry. The brokers are better.
It did.
And you also saw the market share in the broker world tremendously spike up.
Except for 2 years, right? And that's kind of part of my point. The COVID years, right? When the refi market hit, that's the only time brokers lost market share in the last 7-8 years.
And that's just because and this is maybe why you're doing your presentation.
Yes.
They're not creating it's hard to lump everyone into one mold.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, words like never and all are very strong words.
You're right.
And we try to stay away from them in general. I have to thank my wife for that, by the way. My wife's like, you can't really use the word all.
No, she's right.
Can't really use the word never. But you look back, it's that creating that lender for life up front, and then actually practicing what you preach. And that's what your presentation is going to be basically on today. And that's why broker share dropped maybe in 20 and 21, because those originators hadn't created that type of system and processes where they were doing annual mortgage reviews, where they were celebrating their past clients' birthdays, where they were leveraging technology, whether it's through MBS Highway or HomeBot, to stay in front of and top of mind with their borrowers.
And the data is ballistic around this, right? Like, and if you look at it, because I have access to HMDA data and MLS data now, so I can literally log in and see it. But if you look at the amount of cash out refis that occurred, right? Like 653,000 cash out refis occurred. Of the 653,000 cash out refis, mortgage brokers accounted for 19% of it, right?
Okay.
The rest is basically retail.
Yep.
There's obviously the banks and credit flow different, but mainly retail is the rest of it. So why? Are they better? No, what are they doing? They're calling and they're simply asking and they're having conversations. So we have to be the best versions of us and have a conversation.
Yep.
Call your client, check in on your client. So that's been the focus for me at AIME. And then also it's becoming much more transparent as an association. Like, there's no, let's not pretend like people don't know about the hysteria, like what happened. So when I first got launched, I got decimated, right? People attacked me so heavily. My company was working triggers at the time as well. So I have outside sales and an inside sales channel. My company was working triggers and I got roasted. I mean, if you go back and look, I actually saved all the comments.
Well, because this is, AIME was Matt Ishbia's brainchild, right? He was
No, Mark Summers. It was Casa Summers. They're the ones that started it all.
Okay, and then Casa got into the pissing match online with another executive, and
then Katie took over after that situation happened. Obviously, Katie took over, and then Katie's focused. Obviously, she was very big on the advocacy side. Very big on the trigger side, and then she went to the back, and they really pushed triggers. So when I stepped into the role, my company was working triggers. Previous regime for 4 years was all about stopping triggers. So then I get launched and get absolutely bone crushed.
Yeah.
But for me, that was such a big thing because like it allowed me to read between the lines and see where the frustration was coming from. I'm a psycho with that stuff. So, first couple days were rough. The third day I woke up smiling. My wife's looking at me. She's like, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "I'm not dead. I'm not dead. I'm good." And then it's all about like, what do we have to do? So I started making adjustments. So we updated our bylaws. Our bylaws are public. We released our tax returns. Our tax returns are public. Our member minutes are public. We added a board of direct. All this stuff was just start launching. I'm like, let's just go. I pulled back on triggers. And now the association, like, thank God, man, it's exploding.
Yeah.
And we have awesome people investing. I mean, Chris Vincent being one huge investor for us, but he saw the value. And you know what a lot of them said to me? I swear to you, because after a year, it was hard. The first year was really hard, man. And by the way, I did it for free. I didn't take $1. I didn't take a dollar.
And this is a full-time job.
A full-time,
like,
bro.
Full-time job.
If you go look at
like
my
you were the
social
CEO
media,
of AIME.
This guy knows, he traveled with me all last year. I was offered an amount. I said, how about this? I do it for free for the first year, and then based off how I do, we renegotiate.
Good for you, and good for them.
And that's what the board. Everybody's okay. John, are you sure? I'm like, I'm positive.
Who's on the board?
Tom Ollis.
Okay, yep, with Edge.
Yeah,
yep.
Mark Summers.
Okay,
Julia.
who's Mark with?
Mark Summers runs his own company out of Clarkston, Michigan.
Okay.
Julie Arborough, she owns Empire.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Enrique Braunschweiger out of California. He's at the local level.
Okay.
So we're all on the board running, really doing a lot of incredible things. But again, man, like here's what someone said. I did an interview with Housing Wire, and they were like, people are saying AIME seems nicer. And I said to her, I go, it's not about being nicer. I said, it's the fact that I know I write loans with these people. They're a flat tire away, some of them, from not being able to pay their bills. These people need to put food on their table. I don't have time for the bullshit. They need me to be dialed in. Now, does it affect me, the bullshit? Of course it does. I'm a human being. Do I want to retaliate? Of course I do. Do I want to get in front of people? I'm a big boy, you know? Like, I don't mind confrontation. I enjoy it. I'm good in it. But guess what? If I do that, that means I let them down. And that shit's not like, I get emotional about it, man, because I talk to them every day, bro. Yeah. Like, and they're just like, it's been so hard. Like, I don't know where my bill's coming from. And that's what I have to do.
And they are your 22,000 members.
Yes, man. And
that's mortgage brokers, loan originators throughout the country that are looking to this organization for their leadership.
Yes, man. And who cares about the other stuff? How can you help me close more loans? And that's our only mission.
And be a better person.
And be a better human being, man. Like, and I'm working on it every day. Like, I'm not perfect. I know I'm not. I have my moments. I got to get better. And I'm going to get better.
And you're way ahead of me. It took me to my 40. Like, turning 40 was very pivotal for me, as well as 75 hard and reading books and drinking less alcohol. Like, all of that was transpiring at the same time. But I'm 46 and I'm still trying to become a better human. But I love that you that's so passionate for both the 22,000 members that you help lead and all of the people that are at your brokerage that you help lead. Like, you're focused most on helping them become better humans as you become a better human. And along the way, it's like, how can we make a great living doing something we love, which also provides so much value to middle America.
You want to know, can I tell you a quick story real quick? So
yes.
How it all changed for me? All right. So this guy, he passed away. I was telling you, most beautiful human. So here's when it all changed for me. I was an idiot when I started making money at 21, 20. I had nothing. Like, we lost my family, everything. Yeah. It was gone, man.
Yeah. And you kind of went a little bit down that rabbit hole, but you were the firstborn.
Yes. And for our Middle Easterners out there, for any of the foreign cultures, you know what it's like. Firstborn is like that's it. Everything's on your shoulders.
So rabbit hole. But have you watched the sitcom Mo?
No, I haven't.
Dude, check it out.
Yeah.
It is actually really good, and it gives a white kid from Central Florida like me
perspective,
an insight, a little bit into being, from a Middle Eastern family, growing up in the United States, and he's Palestinian. So it's a Palestinian family. It's a really well done, cute. It's a sitcom. It's like 25, 30 minutes. It's a comedy. But it's called Mo. It's totally worth digging into.
No, seriously, thank you. And I'm sure it expresses what I'm trying to explain to you. And, I'll tell you this. Like, I was dumb, and I started making money and the partying, and I'm going out, and I'm like clubs, and my my friends are in college still, and I'm making a ton of money. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is great. Being an idiot.
Jonathan's behind bottle service for us.
It was,
this
man.
is amazing.
No, it was. Yeah. I'm making drinks at clubs. I'm buying out bars. I'm being dumb. Yes. Okay, let's just call it what it is.
Having fun, though. Making memories.
It was, but I thought I was cool, right? And that's, if I look at it, it's my ego talking. Me and Renee talk about this a lot. I talk to my ego now. It's a weird concept. I'll explain it one day if I get another chance. But quick story about this. So my life changed. Here's when it changed. Partying and going out in clubs and all this. So one day, I get invited to the Cavs game, okay? So my mentor invites me, Piazza. He's like, "Do you want to go to the Cavs game?" I'm like, "Sure." Yeah. Like, are you joking? They're in the playoffs. I'm like, "Dude, I love LeBron. I'd love to see the Cavs." He said, "Great. So get ready. Here's what time we're leaving." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I get off the phone. I go home. I pack. I call him back. I go, "Steve, I'm sorry. What terminal?" He starts laughing. There's no terminal. I go, what are you talking about?" He goes, "Here's the address. Go meet us at the private airport. Let them know X, Y, and Z." I was like, "Oh." So I pull up to the private airport, y'all. Okay. 25, 26 years old, Jonathan Haddad. Pull up to the private airport. I pack all my stuff. I sit down. I'm like waiting to go through security. Yeah. No, not like, "Here, grab us your bag."
PJ,
cool.
Yeah.
Do we walk in? And then all of a sudden, I'm walking on a jet, like from the nothing. I get on a jet, and there I am staring at billionaires and millionaires. And I swear to you on everything that's holy, I looked around, and I said, I'm done. I swear to you. I said, I'm done. What am I doing? I'm done. I was like, how do I do this? So the whole plane ride, I just sat there like a fly on the wall. I listened to billionaires and millionaires talk about business, life, space, travel, like things that I want to talk about. And my life, man, changed. And then when he died, that really set me off.
Do you follow Jesse Itzler?
I love Jesse Itzler.
Yeah. So he has a very similar story. I mean, obviously he had a subscription-based private jet company.
Yes, Marquis.
But Marquis Jets. He later sold to NetJets, which is owned by Berkshire Hathaway, right? But his story is so cool because he's like, look, I was a kid, and yes, I started this company, but he said he learned so much by doing the rides with his members. And he said that was a pivotal moment. And now it's cool hearing your story. Pivotal moment for you. It's like being invited to the cool kid table. And all of a sudden you're like, look, if they're not acting this way, I probably shouldn't be acting this way either.
And then you have to have the right people around you too. Like, Renee, even now, like Renee will help me with my keynotes. So he was at Fuse last year that we put on, and we rehearsed my keynote prior to. So I walk up to rehearse my keynotes, Renee and I and the production team. So I go up on stage, and as I walk on stage, I have my drink in my hand. He looks at me and he goes, put that drink down. And I'm like, what? He goes, is that how you want to be? I'm like, we're doing a rehearsal. He goes, I don't care what we're doing. So he's like, put the drink down. I go to start. He goes, no, go back down the stairs and you walk back up. I go down the stairs. I walk back up. He goes, I hated the way you walked up. Pull your shoulders back and smile. I go back down there. But like, you need those people, man. You need those people like that. You know what that does? I don't touch the drink. I don't, man. I don't even think about it because he's in my head, and you know his voice, right? Hey, what's going on? How are you?
He always stays right here.
Right here. It doesn't matter.
It is, and I don't know if it's a God-gifted, like this is how he's going to talk regardless, or something he mastered for 25 years.
I met a friend of his that's known him since college. I just did Amplify.
Yeah.
He said this has been Renee for as long as he's known him.
Well,
I asked the same question.
Because there's no, like, you all listen to me speak. I'm a freaking pendulum that swings like, I mean, I am loud and and I mean, I've been friends with Renee for 15 years, and I just get around him. I'm like, I could never be that way. Like, I would have to try hard and practice it daily to make it subconscious to ever be able to keep. It's almost like Sandler sales training teaches this really well. It's called staying behind the pendulum. He does an amazing job of staying behind the pendulum, and obviously using his baritone voice and his cadence and everything else that he works. The water bottle story is funny because you made me think about, and it could have been Renee that taught me this for the first time. It's like how you do anything is how you do everything. Right? So how you do anything is how you do everything. I teach my team that consistently. And then one of my first like real keynotes, I mean, I'm in a $5,000 suit. I'm dressed like Chris Vincent. I'm like, sharp. I'm on stage, and I go back and watch it. I had a water bottle in my hand the whole time, and I freaking made love to that water bottle for 25 consistent minutes. And I had no idea. So it's a good keynote. It was like attitude, gratitude, and perspective, right? And I was so proud of it, and I rocked it, with the exception of that water bottle was my Snuggie for those 25 minutes. You mentioned AIME Fuse. I want you to talk about AIME Fuse, and we're going to have to wrap it up.
Sir.
When is it? And why should an originator go?
Yep. So it's October 23rd through the 25th in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, I'm in. I'm not even invited yet, but I'm in.
You're invited.
Because Nashville's my favorite city.
I was going to, we'll talk offline. I have a whole idea with this too.
Okay,
you got
beautiful.
my brain flying right now.
Let's go.
So, last year we did Fuse. It was my first one, new to what I was doing. I spent all of last year going to events. I mean, I went to over 20 events. And when I went to these events, I wasn't focused like on the content. I was focused on the structure and how it looks and what they're doing, the VIP experience. Fuse is all about sales this year. There's nothing else except sales, sales, sales. Our breakout rooms are all sales. Understanding the non-delegated business, understanding the broker model business, understanding what a pendulum sale is, how to do a pedestal sale, actually diving deep back into the infrastructure of being a sales professional. There's nothing wrong with being a sales professional. I'm so sick of the Matilda's dad mentality, where everybody thinks of the sales professionals are Matilda's dad. No. The best salespeople I know are the highest level communicators I've ever met. And we got to get rid of the negative connotation. Sales is what makes you great. You're not supposed to call somebody and they tell you yes. They're supposed to tell you no. Your job is to know what to say after the no comes. That's what Fuse is going to be about. I am confident it'll blow people's minds. We're doing an objection Olympics throughout Fuse. I'm actually doing one personally in March in Michigan. I plan on winning that event so I can showcase to the community. And I'm saying it here live because that way you hold me accountable to post it even if I don't win. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to make people uncomfortable because you need to be to become the best sales professional possible.
Are we going to do a script off?
Oh, yes, sir.
Dude, I loved Vincent was doing that this year, right? Mm-hmm. He did it a couple of different times.
He did a couple times.
I didn't get that invite.
Mm-hmm. It's Look at him, not me, all right?
It's okay.
That's on him.
I didn't get that invite. I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. I'm not saying I'm going to win. I'm going to say I'm going to challenge anyone that you put in front of me. And that includes Amir Syed, my buddy.
Yes,
right?
sir. I love it.
My colleague, one of the best, if not the best. You could probably give Amir a run for his money as well. But yeah, I loved that was being done. I had FOMO through the roof because I wasn't included.
Yes.
But I think today I'm dropping the gauntlet that I'm saying out loud, I want to be a part of this. Jonathan should be a part of this.
Yes.
Let's get Amir a part of this, and whoever else thinks that they're really good with storytelling and scripting and overcoming objections. And let's let us have fun together so they all can get better, so they all can serve more through becoming better communicators. I love it. So October 22nd through 26th.
23rd through 25th. Yep.
23, 24, 25 in Nash Vegas.
Yes, sir.
In October, the weather will still be pretty nice. We'll have fall weather. We'll have Broadway. Some of the best brunches are done in Nashville. And if you need a personal maybe tour of Broadway, just know I'm putting my hat in that ring too. I would love to be your chaperone, Jonathan.
You're the man.
All right.
Thank you for everything, Dio.
Hey, Jonathan, if people want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
Very, very simply, Jonathan, JONATHON at AIMEgroup.com. AIME group.com.
Social,
LinkedIn, Instagram, my favorite one, Jonathan, JONATHON _Haddad, HADDAD. My picture is black and white. I'm kind of staring off into the distance like this. I think I'm wearing this exact hoodie, to be honest. So
was that approved by Mo, that picture?
That picture was approved by Renee.
Okay. Renee, Mo, Neil, those three guys.
Yes.
If they approved it, then we're in.
Yes.
Sweet. Y'all, he's Jonathan Haddad. There's
Hadid
no
means,
E.
Hadid means steel, by the way.
Oh, I don't want to do Hadid.
No, I don't mind it. Man of Steel, right? So Hadid's not bad either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's Jonathan Haddad. I'm Dustin Owen. You've just tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast. If you like this and you want more of it, all you have to do is go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, or go to Apple Podcast or Spotify and download. If you really like it, we need you to share it, because sharing is caring. And don't share it once, don't share it twice. Share it 3 times with a friend, a colleague, a coworker. And if you would like more free educational content like this, coaching and sales training, check out everything we're doing over at TLOP's Originator Coaching. Our website is tloponline.com. That's all the time we have for you today, but we do look forward to catching you on the next episode. Peace.